All right, how's it going, Thieves fans? We are going to be talking about the Atlanta Faze and Thieves match, as well as the Vegas Legion and Thieves match that we had this past weekend. Um, we're probably not going to touch on the Faze match too much because it really was kind of a one-sided affair. Um, and I think there's a lot more to take out of the Vegas match than there was the Faze match. Because realistically, the Faze boys are just kind of above and beyond everybody else. Um, obviously outside of the top like two or three teams, um, they're definitely one of the best teams in the game. So with the Thieves kind of being more on the upswing, I think we all kind of figured this was the direction that this match was going to go. So that's why I don't really want to like focus too much on it. I think really as of right now, the biggest difference is it was four veteran players going up against four younger guys who are still trying to mesh together. So, like I said, I really don't feel like there's too much to cover. But then we're going to go to the Vegas match and we are going to look at the stats there as well as break down some of the plays or some of the situations that happened throughout the series that I think kind of show the Thieves' growth, whether it be in hardpoint or S&D or just in general. Because I think that was a very good series to kind of like indicate where they're headed. As we've talked about before, the match up against the Heretics was pretty good match for the Thieves to kind of get the ball rolling. But Heretics have still kind of been on the downtrend, so it's hard to say based off of that match alone where the Thieves are at. But with them taking this win up against Vegas, Vegas has actually been pretty good. They've been looking all right. So the Thieves being able to take a win off of them, and to do it in a 3-1 fashion instead of a close 3-2 fashion like the Thieves have done with the Rocker and Miami, I think that's a really, really good sign for this Thieves team. I'm excited for these last two matches of the split before we get into the Miami event. Um, but yeah, let's get into the Faze and Thieves matchup. Like I said, we're not going to talk too much about it. But as you can see, like I said, we lost 3-0. Faze ended up going 5-1. I believe. Do they have another match? Let me look real quick. Okay, they have. Yeah, they have one more match against LAG, which we also play LAG as well. So realistically, odds are they go 6-1 here. But I believe they ended up losing it to was it New York? I want to say maybe I could be wrong there, but either way, they end up going 5-1 so far, and the Thieves were 3-2. You know, or was 3-2 up until that point. Uh, the Thieves, like I said, they're looking better, and we're able to make winners bracket after this weekend, which is huge. So we'll see how the tournament ends up playing out. The scary thing though is odds are the Thieves are going to face up against a team like Faze, Ultra, Optic, something like that in winners bracket. So that's a little concerning. But anyway, we have the overview of the entire series here. As you can see, nobody on the Thieves went positive. Everybody going negative. Afro with a -23, which is rough. That's really rough. Both Crimp and Nasty -11 and Ghosty -8. Whereas on the other side of things, you have Faze. Celium with a +24. He really just had a great series. And both draws in Simp +11 and a BZ +6. So, you're really not going to win that many series, if any, when you're getting completely outslayed throughout the entire thing. It's very unlikely for you to win a series that way. And like I said, the biggest thing I think is just that this Faze roster has a lot more things figured out than the Thieves do. They're just, they're they're like the Monstars in Space Jam. They're just different. But the map won. It was a 250 to 174 Faze win. It almost went down to time, which was really crazy. There was a lot of white hills. Nobody was really capturing the time. Um, and I think in some regard, you can kind of give a little bit of credit to Thieves for that they were kind of able to at least keep Faze off the point when maybe they weren't able to get on. Um, but I watched back the stream because I wasn't able to watch it live, and I watched the Octane watch party for it, and even him and like everybody in the watch party were saying that it was a super weird invasion hardpoint here, where like I said, it almost went to time. Nobody was getting points. It seemed like I want to say there was like less than 20 seconds left on the game clock, like when the game actually ended. So it was very interesting, very weird. As you can see, too, Draws is the only guy to go negative on Faze, whereas both Afro and Ghosty go negative. Cremp and Nasty go +1. But you know, it was just a really weird map. It felt a lot closer than what I'm sure it really was. I think because of that. So, you know, it's hard to say. We'll get into how I think the Thieves invasion like really looks in the next series, because it definitely seems like they played it better against Vegas than they did against Faze. But going into this map too, again, a 6-0 skunkage is not great. Again, everybody in the negative here. The only one in the negative was a BZ. He was 1-5, which is crazy to see out of a BZ. But you have Celium going 9-2 and Simp going 8-2. You know, again, like I said, Celium masterclass this series. You know, it was kind of unkillable. It was a Karachi S&D, which I don't feel like we're bad at. I think, you know, there were some situations where I think we just kind of let some stuff slip. We let some things get away from us. Like, you know, I'm if I recall correctly, Ghosty was in a 1v1, and I think he just kind of made the wrong read, or you could say Draza made the right read, and won the round. So there was situations like that, as well as like post plants and things like that you know we've kind of had this issue before where it kind of just broke in. There wasn't really much holding them off, and I think that's where you really see the quality teams just kind of like run through your plans. Not something that we've seen with some of the other teams, knowing that we've been playing some of the lesser teams. But like I said, when you play a team like FaZe, they are definitely going to show all your flaws right away. And sure enough, that's exactly what they did. Then we have the map 3 Karachi. We lost that one 3-1, which with control, that's typically the Thieves' best mode. It has been all year. More recently, it hasn't been quite as good. Just I think with this new roster trying to find the way they play off of one another, I think they've been fixing that again going into the next match. We'll talk about that a little bit more because it is a little different now. I think they are starting to kind of find their groove with it. This is a different situation. You have Celium +10 and Draza +15. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy to beat that. Afro -14, Kremp and Nasty both -10. Ghosty's the only one to even be even. So, yeah, just not great. The Karachi, again, is typically another map that we're not bad at, but when you're going up against a team like FaZe, they can kind of just bully you however they want, and that's pretty much what they did with this whole series. So like I said, we weren't really going to talk about this too much because it was a pure stompage 3-0. So there's really not too much to talk about it. Not a lot of upside. Even the pros, like the Thieves guys had said, like FaZe is just that good. Like they're just really good right now, and they are obviously improving. The Thieves are obviously improving, but so are FaZe, and their improvement is like beating Optic and Ultra, whereas our improvement is beating Vegas. And that's definitely a big gap. So speaking of Vegas, let's check out these stats here against Vegas. We won this one 3-1. We took the maps 2, 3, and 4. We weren't able to finish out the invasion map 1, but it was a lot closer than what this Faze match was. I mean, 250 to 204. There were definitely some situations that I felt like the Thieves were definitely in a good spot to close out the map. There were certain things that didn't quite pan out. We'll kind of talk about that. But for this overview here, Afro and Nasty both going negative, and it's like a pretty rough negative here. -15, -12 on the series. Attach had a crazy series. I mean, the fact that he went +32 with 18,000 damage, like this can't happen. I mean, these guys should have been beating up on us. Like, honestly, I think if we get luckier, if we finish some plays in the invasion, we win the series 3-0. Like, but Attach was going nuts. He was going insane. 100T Skip, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. I don't remember if you followed during the last stream, but I appreciate you following. Glad to see more 100 Thieves fans, 100 Thieves people joining and watching the streams. So I appreciate you tuning in. Let's talk about this map 1 here. Everybody went negative for Thieves. Not great. Afro -14, Ghosty -11, Kremp -1, Nasty -11, and Kremp had a pretty good series. He had a pretty good series overall. So this was just kind of his slow map. One thing too was this first map, it got reset. It got reset. At one point, I believe it was Geo. I think his controller must have like died or something. But he just like stopped moving. It was, I want to say, probably close to a fourth or a third of the way through, and they just had to reset the map. Thieves had a pretty good break to start off that first go, and then once they started up the second map, which these are obviously all the stats that come from that second one, Vegas just kind of like knew exactly what they were doing, and were able to shut the Thieves down. And then, Octane kind of joked about it, but Vegas was kind of kill whoring. That's why they're +19, +12, but yet it's only a 46-point win, which is really, really close. When you look at these stats, it really shouldn't have been that close. But we able to fight. We're able to fight back, keeping it pretty close despite us getting outslayed as heavily as we were. So I think that's a good sign in and of itself. Like I said, we'll break down some of this stuff in a minute, but the fact that the entire team was negative and we kept it as close as we did, I think shows that if these guys can get their slaying right, they're gonna start getting to the points where they can face off against any team on hardpoint. And I think they're getting there. Obviously, Invasion is kind of an interesting hardpoint in general. It's got some funky spawns and things like that, and obviously, these guys aren't going to use that as an excuse, but that's the reality of it. There's some funky stuff that goes on with that map, and sometimes it helps in your benefit, sometimes it doesn't. We got a little bit of that benefit in the Rio, which again we'll talk about. But yeah, we fall in that first map 250-204. Then we got our Invasion Search, where the Thieves looked pretty solid. 6-3 win. I think, Afro always has a good S&D, I feel like, every time. Nasty definitely had a bounce back S&D. And, Ghosty, the stats here don't necessarily give the whole story. He definitely had, these kills that he got were definitely in important moments to kind of help keep things swinging in their favor. So even though he went 2-4, he still had a pretty good map. Not not like he had like crazy damage or anything, but like I said, he got the kills. He got the kills where he needed to, when he needed to, and we'd love to see that because it helps us get a 6-3 win. Attach had a slower map this one. Geo went even, Nero, and Purge -3. And yeah, I mean, really wasn't too much to it. I felt like the Thieves really just played well together. They had some good retakes, and they were able to get the bomb down in a couple situations. Just played off of one another pretty well. Like I don't feel like anybody had a crazy like, oh my god, if this guy doesn't do this, we lose the map. Like, which, obviously from a fan's perspective, maybe you want to see a guy pop off and get a 3-piece, whatever. But the good team win, I think, is really really good for us to see, and I'm hoping that will continue on with our other searches down the line. Did I know you joined 100 Thieves? I did not know that, Skip. That's pretty dope though. Dude, hopefully one day I'll be able to say the same thing. We're hoping for that. But that's awesome, man. Very happy for you. That's dope. All right. Our high-rise control here. This one feels way closer than what I feel like it should have been, if we're being completely honest here. I feel like the Thieves should have gotten away with like a 3-0, maybe 3-1 stompage on this high rise. And again, we're going to look at some of the clips and see why. But everybody besides Nasty was positive or even, whereas everybody besides Attach was negative. And realistically, this entire map was basically a defensive heavy map. Both teams did a really good job of holding their defenses. And the Thieves had a couple moments where I feel like if they would have played things just a little different, there's a chance that they would have taken at least one of the offenses, like I said, whether it be a 3-0 or 3-1 win. But their defenses were solid. There were maybe like a couple moments here and there that, they might have made a few mistakes and then also capitalized on top of Vegas's mistakes. But really, it was just a defensive sided map. Both teams were winning their defenses, and the Thieves had more ticks the entire time. So that's the other reason why I think the Thieves had an opportunity to win 3-0, if not 3-1. But they stayed in. Vegas stayed in, taking it to a 3-2, and then on that last round, the Thieves just kind of like smoked them. It was a quick one. That took us to the map 4, which in the previous matches, we were a little concerned anytime the Thieves would go to another hardpoint. This time, I didn't feel as concerned. Now, Rio, obviously, we only played it one time. We played it against Optic. But I feel like based on how we have seen their other hardpoints, and that it seems like the hardpoints have been getting better, I felt like there was a chance that we win this Rio hardpoint. Plus, we had good momentum from the very first, or from the search, leading into the control, which, like I said, I felt like could have been a much more one-sided map than it really was. So I felt pretty good going into this Rio. I think, especially after seeing the way the Thieves played it, that I think this might be a decent map pick for them, depending on who they play. Obviously, if you play a team like Optic or Faze, probably not going to be the best map pick. You got two guys that can run the sub on both teams extremely well. And you could argue you have three guys on both teams that could run a sub extremely well. So it might not be great to play those teams on a Rio. But this map, we had Afro, Ghosty, and Kremp all running a sub at one point. Ghosty started off, I believe, with an AR and then switched up and pulled out the sub. And, it was giving me a little bit of Sogtane vibes from BO4 days for anybody who watched the Thieves back in BO4. Super cool to see him pull out a sub. And, I mean, he was cooking with it. When he pulled out the sub, he was frying. Afro -6. His hard points, like we said before, they're still not like super consistent. They're still not where they need to be. And I think once he gets that dialed, we'll be great. Obviously, we had, you know, uh, there was an upside to this, is that Kremp was +7, and typically I feel like when the Thieves have lost their hard points, they've had Afro and Kremp both going negative, and obviously that's not great. But now if we can at least get one of the two, that I feel like that means these guys are starting to gel a little more, and now the stats don't matter as much. Like if Afro gets -6 and Kremp gets +7 or vice versa, and we win the map, especially when we win at 250 to 173, that stuff really doesn't make a huge difference now. Like obviously you'll want guys to get more kills, whatever, but as long as you're playing as a team, the stats don't really matter as much. When you're going -6 or whatever it might be. Attach again, +8, 5,000 damage. Like, dude was just shooting this series. Geo went even, and Nero and Purge both -4 and -8. We've heard a lot of stuff about Purge. A lot of people saying that Purge should be dropped, whatever. Again, I don't watch enough of just Vegas matches, so I can't really speak on any of that. But from, the way some people talk about him, he's kind of the dirty work guy. Again, he's not really expected to be getting more kills. He's expected to play the objective and allow for Attach to go out and get kills, or Nero, who, as we can see here, wasn't really able to do that. But that's kind of the role that it seems that he has. So, who knows if that's helping the team. It seems like it has. I mean, since they've brought him up in Geo, I feel like they've been all right. They haven't been bad. But there's just such a big gap between a lot of these high-level teams and these low-level teams. It's really hard to tell. But yeah, so that was kind of the stats breakdown of the series. We can jump into the video clips and break that stuff down as well. BPs, I feel like they are really starting to get the team chemistry down, which is really good. The control is just poor OBJ playing by the boys. Yeah, I agree. I think their team chem is definitely starting to get there. I think, as we've said before, having both Afro and Nasty as a duo and Ghosty and Kremp as a duo is really big for them, knowing that before they didn't really have that cohesion. Obviously, like Joe Deceives has good gunny, and he's a good young talent, but he didn't really have connection to anybody. And then Afro and Cammy had only played together for a little bit, and Cammy's actually killing it right now in the challengers. So I give him a lot of credit. Maybe that team just didn't mesh as well as we had hoped, and now these guys have that chem that is kind of putting everything over the top. Because too, like, it's not like these guys' stats are like way better than what they were before, but they're getting more wins because it seems like they are playing as a team and with more cohesion than what they were doing before, which is obviously a huge step in the right direction. I think, especially after seeing how they've done even just in these qualifiers, that this should be the team that you kind of stick with for the rest of the year and let them grow together and hopefully get an even better chemistry by couple majors down the line. I know we only have a few, but hopefully that'll lead us to a better, I guess, like, stat line for champs, that we have a higher likelihood of getting into champs, because obviously that first major was not great for us. That definitely put us back a lot. But being able to just start off in winners bracket now is a huge start, especially in a major where we thought the Thieves, had the hardest schedule out of any team. I think besides Rocker, like people were saying Rocker was up there too. So the fact that the Thieves are 3-2 right now with that is huge. That's huge for the Thieves. So hopefully we can finish out at least 4-3. That's where I'm thinking we end up finishing. I think that's kind of like best case scenario is best case scenario obviously is 5-2, but I don't see us beating Ultra. But that's neither here nor there. And the Rio, yes, retro, I agree. The Rio was really fun to watch. I think it's a very entertaining hardpoint map to watch. I don't know how the pros feel about playing it. I don't feel like it's a bad map by any means when I've played it personally. But again, I don't play it on the same level that they do, so it's hard to tell. This isn't going to have any audio. I cut out the audio of this. I really just wanted to have the video so we can kind of break this stuff down. I can kind of move my camera here. Give me a sec. Let's see. Let me turn this on here. Okay. Got to get that a little better so that way it's not in the way of kill feed and all that stuff. So yeah. So this is the first clip here. Maybe I should say what this is before we really dive into it. This is the first P4 hold that the Thieves had on the invasion hardpoint against Vegas. They were able to basically hold a full P4, which is not easy to do. As you can see, it's very out in the open, and it makes it really hard because the spawns often flip back and forth, which we will see. Obviously, this hardpoint is ending, and the Thieves are pushing up, I think, to try and flip the spawns here, try and get the picks on the guys who are still spawning back here, because the next hill after P4 obviously comes back here. So if they can hold these spawns, they're already set up for next. And then if they're able to hold from the front, this kind of becomes like a mega spawn trap. And so I think that's kind of their game plan on what they're trying to do here. Obviously, you have three guys here pushing the old hill while Nasty's just kind of holding them off. He's able to get the one kill, and then you have two over here, Crimp waiting for number 5. Ghosty's able to get the pick on him, which when he does that, now we have Afro on the point. We got Ghosty, who's now mid-map. Nasty, sorry, I had a brain fart. Nasty spawns up Palace, and so does Purge. These are kind of the weird spawns I was talking about. But the big thing here is we have Crimp just kind of chilling by blue. And because of that kind of forces them to have to try and get him out. Because if he stays alive, there's a chance that he's able to get them to flip spawns. If he stays alive and maybe he even gets a pick, that allows him to hopefully get back here, flip the spawns. So now the Thieves get exactly what they were pushing for. And while doing so, Afro's able to kind of just chill in the hard point, right? Like, Nasty gets a pick on the Purge, Attach trades it out, but at this point, Crimp is still up, so they're still having to find Crimp. Attach at this point could come and try and kill Afro, but Afro's watching back there anyway, so like it's an equal gunfight. There's a chance Afro wins it. Obviously, at this point, if Attach were to challenge Afro, which he was just in a gunfight, so he's probably not healed enough to be able to take an actual gunfight on Afro. That's why he's running back B Street. But Afro was able to just sit here and soak up the time. We already got 15 seconds off of this. So, Afro just kills Geo mid-map. And again, Crimp is still up. He's still alive. He's able to find Attach. Now, again, at this point, sure, these are still spawning back here. There's 30 seconds left. But these guys, they got to find him. They got to find him. So Crimp just staying alive here bought the Thieves so much time for this hard point. Like, if he could have stayed alive even longer, that would have been insane. Obviously, we're not going to ask for too much here. But at this point now, the Thieves are able to kind of push up through A Street and get some trades. Now, see, it goes white, which with it going white, that's not a huge deal because the Thieves already just got 30 seconds off of it. They're able to push through. As you can see, they're able to, they're still spawning up here, which isn't great, obviously. We would like them to be spawning back here, but they're still spawning up over here. But they're able to funnel through, get the final seconds, and then kind of push for a break up here. So that, I felt like that was a good showing out of the Thieves. That's something they definitely wouldn't have been able to do or haven't been able to do against other teams in Hardpoint, especially on Invasion. So I thought that was a really big moment for them in showing the growth. Nasty was having a bit of a stinker leading up to the P3 Hardpoint right there. I mean, still kind of is. 5-12 isn't great, but they were able to pull off damn near full 60 seconds, bringing them to be up 86-65, again, in a situation where the Thieves were kind of getting spanked KD-wise. So it was really good play out of Kremp to stay alive in blue, forcing them to have to try and find him, and because of that, it distracts all of them from going to the hard point, and Afro's able to just sit there and soak. Now, this next play here is the retake that the Thieves had on the B bomb. I believe it was a 4v4 retake. Vegas is able to push up the street here. They smoke it off. They smoke off B Street, and they just rush through, right? So Nero's able to get that bomb down. They get intel on Purge from the stun over the top. Purge isn't able to find the kill there, which is big. Obviously, Thieves stay alive here. And at this point, you got Attach, who's like way out of the play. He's watching the flank. And we got 3 Thieves running through the front. Now, at this point, we got Kremp going on a slow flank, which I think is good. I think it probably messes with the timing a little bit. But the Thieves get the first pick with Nasty's grenade, which Nasty, number 3, he just lobs it over the top. He lobs it over the top, picks Nero. Now it's a 3v4. Sure, Geo gets a trade, but with Geo getting that trade, Afro's able to just follow through right behind, get a free lick. So now, again, we're trading out. And at this point, since you're up lives, you might as well trade out. Like, that's the best thing you can do. So Afro gets the kill. Attach was way out of the play. These two guys just push in. This is where I got a little nervous, right? Purge lays down. He gets the first one. And I really thought, is it Ghosty that dies or Nasty? Nasty. I really thought Ghosty was going to chow. But with Afro getting the pick onto Attach back here, it was actually really smart for Ghosty to dip out because he already took some shots to the feet. He's a little weak. At this point, they know where the last guy is, and they have a pinch on him. So why overcommit, possibly get killed, while Afro's still trying to rotate in? Very smart play out of Ghosty. Again, maybe not seeing it in the kills department, but the play right here was very smart to dip out. He stays alive. Now you got Afro coming over through construction. They're on a full pinch. My guess is they 3-2-1 it, and Afro just chows, gets the win, and Thieves are able to close out that first round. Here we got, it was a 4v3. These were up, but Vegas, they end up taking down 2, which we will see here. I think Afro got some smoke cheese, if I'm not being mistaken, because if you watch right here, look, like even you can even look at his face. I know it's probably not going to show very well, but he gets a little flustered right there. He gets a little flustered when Geo gets that first pick, which makes me think, because Afro's looking right there, but he can't see him from the smoke, that Geo got a bit of a one-way there. I know that's kind of a bug, so I think he just got a little bit of a one-way. He's able to get Afro, and then is also able to get Kremp, which was obviously not good. Now we're down in lives, having to try and retake. 34 seconds on the clock. You got Nasty, who's kind of out of the play a little bit. Ghosty spots attach, which I think was big. And obviously, they're going to plant the bomb because they only got 20 seconds. Again, another situation where Ghosty just makes a huge play. He's 0-3, but the play that he makes is it makes all the difference here. He's able to get this win on Geo, which is huge because now we know they have to be planning. They're not going to have time to rat back. They have to plant. So him getting the pick, again, from somebody who doesn't know what he's doing in the game. When I watched this initially, I thought, oh, why does he not just chow Purge? Why does he not chow Purge? Because Purge is laying down, he's planting the bomb, whatever. But in Ghosty's situation, I'm sure he's questioning, I just saw attach back A street. I push up, I get a pick on the Geo. Odds are, whoever has bomb is trying to plant, and whoever doesn't have bomb is going to be watching over A. So what does he do? He picks and he dips out. As you can see, attach is still over here. Nasty's starting to get into the play now. Bomb goes down. Right as bomb goes down, Nasty is able to get the pick on the Purge. I'm sure he just stands up. Whoa, what just happened here? Let's go back. We did not go that far. What in the world? Sorry about that. So Ghosty dips out, plays his life. Nasty comes back into the play. He gets that pick. That's a huge pick from Nasty because now puts us up 2-1, bombs down. Thieves know where attach is because Ghosty saw him. Ghosty saw him earlier. And then on top of that, after Nasty got the kill onto Purge, I'm sure he saw him too. So now they know he's in this direction. Ghosty gets some hit markers on him. They dip out. Nasty chows mid. They get the pick. They win the round. This is the round 6. I believe this is one where the Thieves just kind of like take the B bomb site and just hold it. They just hold it really well. I showed a couple defenses, but this was their first offense. Obviously here Geo gets the first pick on to Afro. But because of that gunfight, Kremp is able to slide in and get the trade. And as you can see from the arrows, Vegas has everybody over here. Obviously, attach is still somewhat in the play, but he's too far back that, once Kremp, because Kremp shoots this trophy system here. Once Kremp shoots the trophy system, he's able to lob out a smoke, a stun, whatever. Like, they can actually start throwing grenades, tacs, stuns, whatever. So he throws a smoke. And now at this point, the Thieves are able to cross. And it's a 3v3. They're able to get the bomb planted. Ghosty pushes out, lays down that bomb. They have a pretty solid setup here. Like they're close to one another. Nobody can cross over here. They have trophies up. And Nasty's watching the pinch. Obviously, they have a whole squad watching the pinch. Now, this is where I got a little nerve-wracking because I felt like Nasty was in a good spot. And he moved. Maybe he was getting a little antsy. I don't know. But he moves, and he's still able to find the first kill. But right here, he's on a killing spree. I wish he would have played it a little slower still because you get the first pick. Now you can kind of move around. You know that at least one of these guys was on the flank, which means odds are 2 of them are, because I feel like if you're trying to go for a flank, you got to get trades, whatever. So he kind of chows back out, isn't able to get the kill, does a little bit of damage, but now it's a 2v2, gets a little nerve-wracking. But Ghosty's able to pick Purge, which is huge. And now they know, okay, Patch is last up. 1v2. Pretty solid round win out of them. So those were some of the big plays I felt like happened on the search. Again, a lot of teamwork stuff where I felt like they just played things the right way. And because of that, they were able to win. They were able to win a good amount of rounds. Obviously, they win at 6-3. It's was not as close as some of the other searches that they've had recently. So that I thought that was really, really big. Now, I didn't take too many clips from like the control because realistically, like I said, it was kind of a very one-sided map, like in the sense that it was just very defense heavy. It wasn't like I don't know. It was just very defense heavy. Both teams kind of felt like they did a pretty good job defensively. That I felt like there wasn't really too much of a need to get too many clips out of it. But this first clip here is the Thieves on defense here. And as you can see, they go 3 dead. At this point, 10 lives. They go 3 dead. Everybody spawns up back here. And I remember I watched this back, and Zuma the whole time is sitting here yelling, why are they not stacking the point? Why are they not stacking the point? You have Purge here who's pushed up to Crack Shack. And all the thieves are spawning over here. You know, he's blocking that spawn, right? So they all spawn up on the far right side. And they just push through mid. They don't even worry about Purge. Like they say, who cares? It's just at this point, Attach is coming off spawn, so he's way out of the play. And then you have Geo and Nero who are sitting on the point, and Purge is trying to get a flank. But because of that, the thieves just walk right through. They get two picks here. They get Attach, and then they get one on, and then they're able to get the last guy on. So now Purge, sure, he finds 2, but he's so far out of the play. Now the thieves get his trap. Like, and at this point you have no lives. So his flank was just too late to really be able to do anything. And the thieves, I felt like the way they just retook that was a situation where, you know, they were able to take advantage of Vegas's mistake. And I think that's something that the Thieves haven't really done too much up until now. Again, I think it's just showing the growth of this team. Because of that, they end up winning the round. As you can see, Kremp pushes up. Jeez. Gets another engagement. They go 3 dead. You know, 7v1. Thieves win the round. Now we go to the hard point. This was the moment that I thought was really impressive. Obviously, towards the end of the map here, they just got off of, P4? So they're coming over to this van. Kremp is having pretty solid map. At this point, he had a solid series so far in general, too. This is Ghosty after pulling out the sub, by the way, 22-17. We love to see it. And coming over here to take on this hard point here. Kremp gets a big pick. Nasty gets a big pick. Now the Thieves are able to kind of just condense onto the point. Afro gets a great nade here. And this is what I mostly wanted to show. Kremp does a really good job of playing the situation here. Obviously, he started frying, right? But Afro gets into an engagement here. He doesn't get the kill, but Kremp gets the trade. Kremp stays up while Ghosty's pushed up van. Kremp is able to finesse his life over here, while Ghosty also gets a pick. But Kremp stays up, just playing his life. He gets a pick. Chow's out. Dude, this Chow is crazy. This Chow is crazy. To be weak and just make this Chow is insane. This is something that my team would hate me for if I did it. Look at this. He gets attached, dips out, stays up, and then boom, just rechows instantly. Like, yeah, I get Nasty was there with him, but that's just crazy. Huge play out of him. Thieves push up, take up some more map space. Kremp is on a 5. He's staying up. And is able to slide out. We get a lucky teammate, which is great. But he's able to slide out here and gets a pick, getting that cruise missile, which was huge in the grand scheme of things. And then at this point, this is where they kind of like throw it away. But I mean, at this point, they basically held a full 60. They held for 50 seconds. I mean, you can't complain about about these guys holding for 60 seconds on that hard point, when it was kind of a battle. It wasn't like they just had the free rotation there. Like they had to battle to get onto the point. They took it. They held it for 50 seconds. That ended up putting them what up 240 to 158. So then at that point, all they had to do was break into new pretty much, and they would win. And I will say we got blessed with an Afro spawn. Afro was the first to rotation, I believe, and he got one pick, and then like three of Vegas just like jumped on top of him. They picked him off because of the cruise missile. Because of the cruise missile that Kremp got, he calls it in right away, gets the kill. Then the Thieves are able to kind of start to funnel in slowly. Afro gets a God spawn and runs up, gets the pick, and is able to close out the time. I believe it was only like 5 seconds that he had to get at that point. And so he just clears the point, gets those 5 seconds. We win the series. Team goes nuts. Super pumped. Another huge win out of the Thieves. Very happy with how this last weekend played out. Going 1-1. Like I said, something that I thought the Thieves were more than capable of doing. So yeah, I'm very happy. We have 2 more matches coming up. The Thieves' next match is, I want to say, against Ultra, because I know they play Ultra and they play Gorillas. Oh, their next match is Gorillas, and then after that is Ultra. Obviously, like we said, Ultra, top 3 team in the league. You could argue top 2. And the Gorillas, they have a history with us. The Thieves just, for some reason, can't seem to beat them. Don't know what it is. So hopefully we're able to kind of break that curse, because LAG has not been playing very good. So ideally, the Thieves will get that first win and at least make the map or the match against Ultra a little more interesting. I think if we can at least start making series against these top level teams interesting, I think that'll be a really, really, really good sign of improvement. So I'm very excited to see how these matches go. I won't be able to watch the Ultra match live. I will be able to watch the Gorillas match live. So I will be paying attention to that. I will be posting about it. And ideally, we get the win. I will rewatch the Ultra match once I am off work. I think I have an earlier shift that day, so I should be able to watch it back and kind of at least tweet about it a little later in the day. Have something else cooking up as well that had to get pushed back a little bit, but hopefully we can get that done fairly soon and then have that uploaded soon as well. And for this, I'm going to try and have this uploaded tomorrow at some point. Hopefully we can have it up so that way it's before these next matches for anybody who wasn't able to watch live and wants to watch on YouTube. So that's the goal. If anybody else has some stuff, that you guys would like me to talk about or that you would like to bring up, I'm more than willing to talk about it. Otherwise, I think that's enough out of me. I don't really have too much else to talk about unless there's something that I missed and you guys wanted me to cover. Because I feel like everything was, at least for the match against Faze, it was pretty straightforward. And then, we broke down a lot of the stuff from the Vegas match. So I don't want to be mumbling for too long here. But yeah, I'm excited for this coming week, and I will try to have this VOD posted tomorrow at some point for anybody who missed. If you're not following, go ahead and check out the ThievesTalk YouTube page. It's, as the name says, it's just ThievesTalk on YouTube. I will be posting more stuff that is not just these VODs. Like I said, I'm working on some stuff that'll just be like a regular YouTube video that hopefully will kind of spark some things, and we'll see how a lot of it goes. But I'm very excited for that, so please be on the lookout for all of that. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead and check out ThievesTalk on Twitter. Like I said, I just do a lot of updates on the Thieves matches and anything Thieves related, really. If they do like a podcast episode or something like that, I try to talk about that sometimes on there, and just kind of like keep people updated as well, because I know not everybody will see maybe the Thieves posts. So sometimes, even if I just like repost it or whatever, maybe you'll be more likely to see it. I don't know. But that's some of the stuff that I do on the ThievesTalk account. But yeah, I think that's about it this go around. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I hope to see you all in the next one. We'll have that out after both matches next week, and hopefully it'll be sooner than what this one was. So I apologize for that, but I appreciate you all tuning in. Peace out.